last piece on here that I want to shoot it is I plan with my kids, and my children know, whether you're in my classroom in your kindergartner or whether you are my older kids right now in my middle school and I'm doing the mythology with them, that you will do a presentation and a speech, probably with every single unit we do. And the idea with it is that you want to establish your criteria with your kids first, and then you prepare outlines. And in your handout, I gave you some outlines that you can make for kids that will give them a chance to present without them having to create the materials themselves, to be able to respond to what you're asking for. So I gave you some presentation cards. In my classroom, we do this as a casual, like, hi, let's get together and do this just for fun, just to give them a chance to practice. But then, whatever I'm going to do for them, folks, I have to be able to do myself. So I model for them. Every time I'm doing, for instance, my big kids right now, and you'll see in your outline there's an evaluation form for personal narrative. That's for when we did Washington history. There's a new one coming out for my kids for mythology. And next 2 weeks from now, my children will be doing a mythology fair, and they will be dressing up as the character. And they will have their face and their hair, and they will be telling the story from the viewpoint of the mythological character. But where I started with that, folks, was I got up and I was Prometheus, and I told the story, and I pulled them, and I told my kids, what you do as a storyteller in narrative is you take your audience in your hand and you say, here, let me guide you. Let me take you to the pinnacle of emotion, and let me drop you to the depths of emotion. You are taking control. So we have spent 3 days analyzing in each piece that they're working with the emotions that are there. Line by line, by event. Because now the criteria is that they're going to express those emotions in their storytelling as they tell it. I have a boy being the Nemean lion. I have a girl who is Hades. I mean, a girl who is Hera. I have a boy who is Hades. I have a girl who's decided to be Medusa and tell as if she's sitting on a stage in a museum. Her head is on a platform because Prometheus brought it there and stuck it there after he cut it off. And she talks about how haughty she was, and boy, that guy wasn't going to get past me. And this kid is working on it. Now, I have worked with these kids for a few years to get them to this point as 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. But my little guys, they do presentation too. You have to establish for them the criteria. They are evaluated every time on clarity, how well they clearly convey their information, on eye contact. I teach children from the very beginning to look at. The other day, one of the 8th graders was doing a speech, and I was doing his evaluation, and he was looking over the tops of people's heads. And I said, you know, the only problem I had, Finn, was I was going like this to see where you were looking. I said, even if you don't see my eyes when you look at them, even if it scares you, you have to look in my eyes. You have to look because you have to make personal contact, because then people know it's for them and that they're accountable for it. Loudness, pace. Are they speaking really, really fast? Because that's what you find. You say to a kid, do a poem. Thank you very much. Why would I bother listening to that? I'm not going to. And tone and pitch. But all of those things are things that we deal with. You see, what we're doing is realizing that if we don't do these things for our kids, then having them desire to be readers and get information. Because what the information that you get is then gives you the product that you can convey. The literacy that you create gives you the product that you can get. And kids that have difficulty in reading, oftentimes if you work with them, can be amazing performers, because they're also the kid in your classroom that's the one that's always wanting attention. They're the one that's being the clown. So let's let him be the clown. Okay? They're the one that wants everybody to say, oh, so let's let him scare us to death and be the Minotaur. Okay? And so one of the things that I believe, folks, is that oral language is a foundation. And so I want to encourage you to go back to your classrooms and look at how can I integrate oral language in with all, and I don't want you to say, oh, it's another new thing. What I want you to see is it's nothing new. It's just taking what they're giving you and saying, would it help if we spoke it first? Would it help if they talked about it first? How connected will they be to this content if they have to argue about it or fight about it or talk about it than if I just give them read this chapter and take the stupid test at the end? We are doing far too much what I call spray and pray. And teachers can complain. Yeah, you spray it out there and you pray that they'll get it. And you know what, I believe you can complain all you want about it, but if you don't take it and creatively adapt it, then you're just as guilty as the people that gave the stuff to you. I am a creative teacher. I went into teaching because I believe that as a person, I make a difference in the lives of children. Each of you did not go into teaching to burp and gag your kids. Did you? You did not. You went into teaching for those joyous moments when kids got it. You went into teaching for those times when a kid said, Mrs. Ferguson, remember when you taught me this? Or, you're beautiful. You know, I had a kid the other day was saying to me, we were talking about being different than we were to act and stuff. And he said, but I don't think, Phyllis, that you could be a young person when you act. I said, why? And he says, because I think we have to like really pull hard on your legs. And I said, you know, I've decided as an actress that I can't do young parts anymore. And it's really sad. I know, Phyllis. It was just so funny, but you know what? I only have those kinds of interactions with my kids because I take the time to talk to them and listen to them. Gordon Wells tells us in his research study that the biggest indicator of student achievement in reading is that kids are read to and that they're listened and talked to. When we quit doing those two things, your reading achievement is going to go into the toilet. And it will. The last thing I want to share with you is we have a booth downstairs called SaveTheTeacher.com. In your lap, there is a purple piece of paper. If you would like to register for our drawing, we're giving away a t-shirt and a CD. And downstairs, we have my big books available, my CD available. We also have a brochure about an amazing conference that's going to take place this summer in Ashland, Oregon, called Optimizing K-2 Literacy. It's a play and stay. Come stay at SOU and do plays in the evening and do workshops with me during the day. We are looking, how many of you are intermediate teachers or middle school teachers? Okay, we are looking at putting on the same week following that, one for intermediate and middle school people, but we need to know if there's an interest. So if you'll go on our website and fill out our poll, and let us know if you're interested. Pass it down. Becky will draw your name.
All you 3 through 6, make sure you go and vote at www.save-the-teacher.com/institute. We'll take your information, and if you want it, we'll offer it this summer. Let us know what time would be best for you. Also, K through 2 teachers, you don't want to wait too long to sign up and register. Space is limited, and if you register before March 1st, you'll be able to take advantage of our early bird special and save $50 off of your registration. You won't want to miss this 3 days of intensive training with Phyllis that is not only inspiring and humorous, but also very practical on how to implement those 5 pillars plus oral language and motivation. You won't want to miss it. It's the ultimate tax-deductible teacher vacation. Come, stay, and play.